Sitting here getting my fat bitch on. The police did it again. This time to a young white man, 26-year-old father of two, who's having a medical emergency, whose grandmother called for help because she needed to get into the hospital. There is footage of this. Riker Earl was epileptic. He had had several seizures that night. And in that case, it is appropriate to call for an ambulance to get somebody to the hospital, because you can go into status epilepticus and die. How do I know this? I have epilepsy. It is very obvious from the footage that Riker is in postictal state. He's in an after seizure state. He is clumsy. He is slurring his words. He appears confused and slightly combative. He has had an electrical storm in his body that started in his brain. The postictal state can last anywhere from minutes to hours. I would think anybody in the law enforcement or medical field would know this. It does not show exactly what happened, but what the eyewitnesses are saying is he either stumbled and somehow touched one of the paramedics or grabbed him, and the police thought he was trying to hurt the guy, tackled him, and put handcuffs on him as he lay screaming on the floor that "You're killing me, please let me up, don't do this." They had him on the floor for 20 minutes, face down. In that 20 minutes, they shot him up with what appears to be 4 syringes of ketamine. Now, I would think if you were a paramedic or police officer, you would have what happened to Elijah McClain burned into your frontal lobe. I'm not in the medical field or law enforcement, and I know what happened. Elijah got 1 shot. They didn't know how much he weighed, and it killed him. Now, I didn't hear anybody say, what medications is Riker on? He's epileptic. He's going to be on some neurological medications. How much does he weigh? None of that. All they're saying is, it's not working, we should give him another shot. His aunt shows up and realizes Riker is on the floor unresponsive now. And she starts yelling, he's unresponsive, he's turning blue. He's unresponsive, he's turning blue. Finally, they turn him over, take his pulse, and realize he's flatlined. Oh, and then they give him CPR. Riker died 2 days later in the hospital, leaving behind 2 sons. This was an actual medical emergency. We know you can't drive your car and be black. And we know you can't walk down the street and be black. We know you can't talk on the phone and be black. We know you can't play video games and be black. We know you can't sleep in your house and be black. But now we know that you can't be disabled and have a seizure. This was so unnecessary. And this hits home really hard for me because it said that Riker had been suffering from seizures for 7 years. He's 26. He was diagnosed at the exact same age I was. Therefore, the grace of God, the goddess, go I. Because when you had a seizure and you're in that after seizure state, you are in the most vulnerable state you can possibly be in. You're confused, you're clumsy, sometimes you can't see, you can't talk, you're uncoordinated, you may not know where you are. And their response was to tackle him, handcuff him, and shoot him up with ketamine until he stopped breathing and died. Oh. Riker, you deserve better.